Hello and welcome to the Pick and Roll with It show. My name's Usted and I'm here with my co-host Iman. Welcome everybody. We got a lot of people tonight. We got a good show. For our first, we're gonna start our.
Okay, can I just
Yep.
interrupt? Sorry, do you guys know that John Wall was just traded for Russell Westbrook?
Wait, what?
I had to interrupt.
What is that?
The Rockets traded Westbrook to the Wizards for John Wall in a first round pick. What the
Wow! Oh my God. Okay, I guess this is a great live show to have right now.
Like your face when I said, "Could I just interrupt in the middle of his introduction?" He was so set for it. But
I was so ready. I did no idea. That
can
is
we
crazy.
scrap one of these and argue live?
100%.
Which is
Okay.
best?
We will work that into the show today because wow, what great time and Shams. Thank you for that. Okay, guys. So let's get into the intro. We see people are filtering in with letters right now for our first game. So our first game is going to be Name That Player. We'll explain that in a second, but just keep sending us letters to use for that game. So basically, to introduce, this is a pick and roll with the show. It's a live Twitter NBA debate show. That's a lot of words. Basically, we got 5 topics. We're going to argue either this or that or pro or con for. The only catch is we don't know what side of the topic we're going to argue for until it's time to do it. So last week, Iman won narrowly 3-2 on the topics. As always, after every topic, the live chat, you guys get a chance to vote as to who won, who had the better arguments. Each person gets 1 minute to make their base argument and then 30 seconds to rebuttal. How we decide who argues what, we roll a dice. If it's odd, you argue for. If it's even, you argue against, and so on and so forth. And we keep kind of switching it. So we try to keep it fun. If there turns out to be a really good argument in the chat, we might just use that. Last week, we totally
or a trade.
We straight up threw out one of our topics for that. This week, we're going to throw out one of our topics for this trade. I guess we might as well start with that as the first topic, right?
Jesus. So okay, yeah, but let's start with the letter first.
Oh, yeah.
So, okay, so let's go with the first letter we got. Sorry, you guys. Sorry, Brad, you came up through with 2 letters, but we got to go with F. But F isn't good. Who starts with an F? Why can I only think about Derek Fisher?
So did we pick a letter? Did you pick a letter?
We have to go with F. F is the first letter we got.
F is the first letter that we got. Okay, so let me set the timer. We're going to set it to 45 seconds.
You go first.
I go first because I lost, right? Yeah. Okay, so 45 seconds. We're starting with F as our letter. F, Fred VanVleet.
F,
Oh, wow. Wow.
Franklin Roosevelt.
No.
I can. Oh, like what is happening? Is Raymond Felton still in the league?
Nope.
Frank Isola? Can we do NBA?
Frank Isola.
I can't think of anyone. This is gonna be the quickest one. I literally cannot think of it. I can only think of John Wall and Russell Westbrook. I can't think of literally Bradley Beal. Is there anyone on that team? I don't know. Kelly. I can't think of anybody.
Wow. All 45 seconds, you couldn't think of one other name.
I still can't think of one.
All right, just to make sure that I win, Frank Kaminsky. I'll throw that out there too.
I knew there was a Frank. I said Franklin Roosevelt. I said Frank Isola. I was trying to find a Frank. I probably wanted Frank Kaminsky. I picked White Franks.
Just brutal. Okay, so I guess I win, which means that Iman, you have to roll for our first topic, which was going to be something else, but I guess we're going to go with this topic. I guess who wins this trade? The Rockets or the Wizards? Is it Russ or Wall? Who comes out on top? So let's roll. I guess if it's odd, you say the Rockets won the trade. If it's even, you say the Wizards won the trade.
Yep.
Okay, so even. So you say the Wizards win the trade. Oh, that's a good one to argue. Okay, so I'm going to put a minute on the clock. And Iman, are you ready to go? 3, 2, 1, go.
John Wall has not played a single basketball game in well over a year. He was injured and then re-injured himself at home doing basic household chores. He hasn't been a good basketball player in like 5 years at this point. And even at his prime, he was never better than Russell Westbrook. So what are we getting right now? Also, he signed one of the worst contracts, if not the worst contract in the league. I think we're all often talking about Chris Paul and Russell Westbrook having two of the worst contracts, and it's because we forget that John Wall is an active NBA player. He has the worst contract. Ernie Grunfeld, notorious for giving the worst contracts. And finally, he's gone, and the Wizards are ridding themselves of an awful era and moving into a really fun one with Russ and Bradley and seeing how that works. The Rockets are just blowing everything up. They're just getting picks wherever. Oh yeah, they're just getting picks wherever they can and getting rid of.
All right, time's up. All right, okay, this is super easy. The Rockets clearly win this because they got a pick out of the deal. You get out of Russell Westbrook's deal. You get John Wall. Sure, they might be a wash. To be honest, John Wall's probably the worst player, but you get a pick out of it, and the pick could be useful in, moving on and going into a rebuild if they need to. So at least they got a pick out of it, and it's the Wizards pick. And if you look at the Wizards, you've got Bradley Beal and Russell Westbrook there. Even though it's a protected, I don't know what the protection is on it, but I'm sure Bradley Beal and Russell Westbrook can churn out 40 wins in the East and get that pick to actually be viable for the Rockets. Also, what are the Wizards doing? The Wizards are just going to be in mediocrity for the next 2 years until they trade away Beal and Westbrook. So did they really win? I don't think so. If anything, the Rockets have won because they at least have a plan moving forward into a clear rebuild now.
What? Not at all. That really is accurate, and none of that is true. First of all, what would the Wizards have done by keeping John Wall? At least at this point, they're proving to Bradley Beal, who every team is clamoring for, that they are trying to do something and they are trying to win. They're bringing the 2017-2018 MVP over to the team. He is fun. He's exciting. It's fresh blood. The Wizards have never won a 50-game season. They now have this fun team, whereas they would have had nothing. They would have had.
Okay, let's let Russell Westbrook. Is it going to be fun to play with Russell Westbrook? I don't know. Maybe he's going to hog the ball the whole time. Oh my God, it's so hard to say. But if you're stat chasing, I guess Russell Westbrook is great. Will Bradley Beal touch the ball as much with John? Because Russell Westbrook at least going to shoot the ball more than John Wall did. Also,
John
Russell
Wall
Westbrook.
Didn't play.
How much? Exactly. So Bradley Beal misses out on his stats. If anything, this is going to hurt Bradley Beal's chances to get to All NBA and all those other accolades. So I think it's a loss for the Wizards.
Okay, I'm sorry. I have to continue it. Absolutely, it's not going to hurt it. He averaged 1 trillion points last year and was not an All-Star. This is at least going to help him win some games to get in the conversation.
All right, chat. You tell us who won topic one. So you guys can tell us whether I won that argument or Iman won that argument. I got to be honest, it's very hard to argue for John Wall, who is someone I've slandered endlessly for so many years.
You definitely won that one. Thank you. What are we even talking about? Get out of here.
I'll just take the L on that one straight up.
Take the L.
That's
You're
pretty
like
easy.
The Rockets taking the L. What the hell are they doing?
Yeah. So while we talk about that, we'll move on to our second topic while people keep voting. Keep voting in the chat and let us know who you thought won that as we move to our second topic. So our second topic, I have to actually rewrite this live since we changed up our order. Topic 2.
Can you just imagine if you were talking to your 2015 self and we're telling that self that John Wall, Russell Westbrook, and Chris Paul will all be traded for each other a year apart, my mind would have exploded.
Yeah. But shout out to Tillman Fertitta. If Donald Trump couldn't do it, but someone brought a wall to Texas. Good on him. That's what you get from a mega supporter. Anyways, moving on to topic 2, Kawhi or PG, who is to blame for the Clippers debacle last season? So I guess now it's my turn to roll the dice. So if it's odd, we'll say Kawhi's to blame. If it's even, we'll say it's PG to blame. All right, let's see what we get. Even. Paul George is to blame. Oh, beautiful. I can argue that all day. So let's set the clock at 1 minute. And we're 3, 2, 1, and start. This is easy. Paul George is clearly to blame for all the Clippers failures last year. I don't even have to get to it. The fact of the matter is you get all this news saying, Clippers players were turned off by the diva treatment of the 2 stars. Let's be honest. Nobody's really turned off by the diva treatment for Kawhi Leonard. He's a superstar. He deserves it. The diva treatment that pisses you off is when Paul George, a dude who's barely averaging more points than Lou Williams, who's basically just chucking up bricks all over the place, is also getting the same treatment. How much better is Paul George than like Patrick Beverley at this point? With the way he was playing, not much. Bubble Paul George is nowhere to be seen, completely missing on the offensive end of the ball. And it's just something that has happened over and over and over again in his career where he's just continued to fail. Also, no accountability. If you want to talk about someone who's never accountable, it's Paul George. Anything he says, he's saying the opposite of it 2 weeks later. So if anyone is to blame for the lack of leadership and the lack of accountability on that team, it's Paul George being treated like a star when he isn't. Go.
Kawhi Leonard is the reason that Paul George is on the team. So to talk about Paul George ruining it, it's because of Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard is the reason there's superstar treatment on that team. Him being a diva, him demanding that the Clippers trade away their entire future for this middling player that you say is not an all-star player, that's because of Kawhi. Paul George didn't demand his way there. Kawhi did. The fancy treatment, the load management, and all that stuff wasn't something that Paul George was doing last year. We didn't hear reports of locker room issues when he was on the Thunder because it has nothing to really do with Paul George and everything to do with Kawhi Leonard. We heard it in San Antonio, we heard it in Toronto, and now we're hearing it again in Los Angeles. This is a Kawhi Leonard issue, and he's corrupted Paul George into thinking that Paul George deserves this fancy treatment because he demanded that Paul George be there. So yeah, 100% this falls on Kawhi Leonard. There's a reason why it's everywhere he goes.
I wouldn't say it's everywhere he goes because Kawhi has won everywhere he goes, and then the first time he gets hooked up with Paul George, they can't win suddenly. Kawhi Leonard showed out in the playoffs, did what he had to do, had to take on an oversized load because his second in command basically no-showed. Paul George is out there playing like Wes Johnson, and it doesn't fall on him. The guy's being paid max money. Kawhi traded for Paul George from the Gatorade ad. It's not his fault that Paul George of reality showed up. Like, this man who gets dotted in his eye consistently over his career and has never dotted anybody else.
Okay, here's the thing. You're over your time. So Paul George is a talented player. I'm not saying he's as good as Kawhi Leonard. Saying that Kawhi Leonard won everywhere, he was on the San Antonio Spurs, the greatest franchise in NBA history. Yes, I said that, you Laker fan. And on the Raptors, which finishes a 60-win team without him this year and won 59 games the year before he came. So it's not like he's just going into these places and dragging everyone up to the top. This is the first time he's asked to do it, and he failed.
All right. There's your time. There's a good. That wasn't a bad argument. I thought that it would be pretty easy to win as Paul George's last drive. Anyways, chat.
Oh, you saying that I beat you? That's what I heard.
I'm saying you beat me. I think it was actually competitive.
Here first.
I was a competitive. So, anyways, let's ask the chat. Topic 2. Who do you guys think won? Was it me or Iman there? Again, I'm pretty sure I won hands down. I think I got it back. But it's been a rough go. That Russ John Wall news kind of shook me up. I'll be honest. I'm not still processing it. I
still cannot think of another player that starts with the letter F.
I'm gonna take a second just to check if there's any more news.
Tillman Fertitta.
Apparently, the two GMs hadn't talked in weeks on the deal, but connected this afternoon and said, "All right, call it a day." That is hilarious. Oh my god. How much better could the deal have gotten today than 2 weeks ago? That's hilarious. Anyways. Tillman Fertitta, everybody. That's great. All right, guys, tell us who won. Still waiting. Yeah, there you go. Kind of telling us that's tough call.
Yeah, which, I mean, the fact that it was a tough call and I had to argue against Kawhi Leonard kind of makes it mean that I won. I'll take it.
I'm pretty sure I won that. Guys, keep voting in the chat so we'll know who won as we move on to topic 3. Topic 3 is going to be, oh man, I have to reorder all these, but I guess we're going to go with...
Sorry.
Let's go with this one. This one's a fun one. Topic 3. Luka is the next face of the NBA. So, Iman, let's say if it's odd, you're arguing for. If it's even, you are arguing against. So let's see what you got to argue. 4. So you against. Sorry, it's the number 4.
You're like 4.
Yeah. Luka is not the next face of the NBA. That is what Iman is going to argue, and we're going to start in 3, 2, 1. Let's go.
Luka's not the next face of the NBA. People want to give it to him and they want to crown him as the next face because it's fun. He's young, he's exciting. But you know what's going to happen 2 years from now when he hasn't won anything in the playoffs? People are going to kill him for not having won anything in the playoffs. People are going to kill him for his defense. You're going to see highlight reels like we saw of James Harden. The same way James Harden is not the face of the NBA, Luka's not going to be. Also, when was the last time, when was the ever time that we had a European player as the face of the NBA? I'm not saying it's because he's European, but like this league is kind of xenophobic in that way. We've never really seen it be a non-American. That's just the way the NBA works. And also, his style of play kind of, we can make the comparisons to James Harden, we can make the comparisons to LeBron James, and I feel like whenever we have a face of a league, the next person, we want their game to mimic theirs, right? Like that's what we did with Michael Jordan. It was, is it going to be Vince Carter? Is it going to be Kobe Bryant? Is it going to be Rip Hamilton? Like all these guys, and it's never that person. It's very rare to find a Kobe. It's never going to be that guy. So it's not going to be Luka.
All right, time's up. Luka Doncic is the next face of the NBA. You know how you know? Because he's playing on Christmas against LeBron James. That's pretty much. You would make your decision. The NBA said we got to put our best games on Christmas. They said Luka versus LeBron. LeBron's already touted him as being the next up. He's given him his props. The kid's only like 20 years old, and he's doing crazy things in the playoffs, just straight up leading a team, and he hasn't even like close to gotten there. The amount of hype that came in about him internationally, and for whatever reason, he has been accepted more by the NBA community as, a league beater than Giannis has. Just because I guess he can shoot a three, and maybe some other reasons because media members think they see something in him that they see in themselves. But for whatever the reason might be, Luka Doncic clearly is being touted as the next face of the NBA, and he has the flair, the charisma to do it. He's got the cool passes. He's handling the ball, and he can hit the three ball. There isn't an obvious weakness to his offensive game that can be exploited. So I think as long as he keeps winning, he will stay the face of the NBA.
That's the thing, though. He can't shoot the three. And how are you going to be the face of the modern NBA when you shoot as well as Marcus Smart? Also, the face of the NBA is going to be someone who's electric and athletic and can jump out the gym. That's not Luka. There's a reason why, yes, he looks like most media members and we talk about white privilege in the league, but there's a reason why white players are never the face of the NBA. It's because they don't have the athleticism. Also, there's a Giannis who's 26? There's Zion. There's Zion Williamson. That is the face of the NBA.
Zion Williamson is the face of chronic knee and back problems, okay? Like, the poor guy needs to get his health in order first. I love him. But the fact of the matter is, if he's going to be the next face of the NBA, he has to be on the court for more than 20 minutes in, 10 games in an entire season. Luka Doncic, he's the baby-faced assassin. He's got everything kind of going for him. In terms of, if they win this year, even if they get to the West semis, he's the next face of the NBA. He's the magic man of the NBA.
Time out. Can I just say, Luka has a chubby round face. He's called a baby face assassin. Zion has a chubby young face, and he's told he needs to go work
Zion's
out.
face isn't chubby. That's not the problem.
You guys are seeing what's happening here.
Zion's
right now.
built like the Michelin Man. That's the problem. I love him, though. He's my favorite. Majin Buu in basketball form. He's beautiful. Anyways, topic 3, who wins? You guys in the chat can let me know who won. Was it me or Iman who won that topic? As we will continue on to our next topic. I'll be honest, I'm pretty sure I won at least 2 of the 3 so far.
That's absolutely not true because I see here that giving the edge to Iman on that one, she convinced me Kawhi was the problem. So I see that I won.
I don't see any comments, honestly. I just don't, I don't think comments are happening. So Iman, I'll let you retweet the post as well while I set up the next topic. I got to retype it. So our 4th topic. Wow, we're already 4 topics in. This is a good one. We'll go with this one. Our 4th topic is going to be Eastern Conference champs. Is it going to be the Bucks or the Field? Who are you taking to win the East? There you go. Thank you. I still won that one. You guys keep voting who won topic 3. As always, I won, but we'll keep moving. Anyways, East champs, Bucks or the Field. So it's my turn, I guess, right, to roll the dice. So we'll say odd is Bucks, even as the Field. Yes, baby. Let's go. All right, the Field. So I will be arguing that the East champs will be someone from the Field. Let's go. The Milwaukee Bucks are not favored to win the East. Let me tell you why. First of all, there are way too many good teams in the East to just say that the Bucks are going to roll themselves. Secondly, when did the Bucks last win the East? Did they win last year? No. Did they win the year before? Oh no, they didn't. The number one team in the Eastern regular conference in the regular season, sure. In the actual playoffs when it matters, I highly doubt they get through. First of all, the Heat give them matchup trouble. The Celtics present some matchup problems. The Raptors can present some matchup problems for them. Every team that is in the East gives them some sense of matchup problems. Are they probably the most bulletproof? Sure. But their coach is definitely the worst of the playoff coaches. Brad Stevens, better playoff coach. Nick Nurse, clearly a better playoff coach. Eric Spoelstra, clearly a better playoff coach. So that's already 3. Doc Rivers, you can argue left or right on, but I don't see the Bucks winning the East versus the field. Go. Iman, you there?
Oh, sorry.
I'll reset it. Go. He just fell asleep. Oh my god.
It froze on me. It was a little bit lagged, and I was just waiting. Okay, so Giannis is in his 7th season. He's going to make the finals just like another player did in his 7th season. LeBron James. I think LeBron James did it in 6 seasons, but we're just not going to fact check me there. So here's the thing. The Bucks are the best team in the Eastern Conference, and they got rid of their biggest liability. They got better. The Bucks didn't need to get miles and miles better in order to beat the East. They just needed to get slightly better, and they did that with the upgrade at the 1 spot. They have a better playmaker, which is what they needed. They needed playmaking. They needed that in their starting lineup. They got rid of Bledsoe, who was a complete dud, who was absolutely useless in the playoffs. Any sort of slander you've ever heard about Kyle Lowry in the playoffs, just apply that to Eric Bledsoe. They didn't take a step back defensively, and they got better offensively. That's all they needed.
Okay, and what do they do?
Okay, don't fact check me. I don't care what
do they do? What do they do when Chris Middleton turns into Wes Johnson against the playoffs? The man who can't even score on DeMar DeRozan. Like, yo, Chris Middleton, trash in the playoffs. Drew Holiday, can he even stay healthy? That's a good question. Also, like, the Bucks are just relying on Brook Lopez continuing to be a magically good drop defender. The man's aging. I don't see it happening. And has Giannis learned to shoot? I doubt it. The fact of the matter is the Bucks do not have a second guy that equals any other team, and the other teams are clearly just better defensively. You can go ahead. I took more than my time.
Oh, that was only
lagged out again. Wow.
I'm okay. So here's the thing.
Bucks, Iman is choking.
No. Let me explain something here. The Bucks don't need to be miles better is what I'm saying. There's no team in the East that's that scary. There's no team in the East that's that dominant. There's no team in the East that's got that much better besides the Nets, who were absolutely trashed the year before and nobody knows what they're going to look like. The Bucks should be favored. They should be the favored team in the East.
So you're saying there's no real dominant team in the East, so that's why the Bucks should be favored? That's wild.
Yeah.
If anything, that just means that the field should be the way to go.
They're like, all right, topic 4. Head and shoulders above the fields.
Okay.
I was also argue against that. I had a few arguments for against.
All right, topic 4, guys. Who won? Vote in the chat whether I won.
You guys know this. Here's the thing. I won because I didn't mention Chris Middleton, and I still managed to defend them. So I feel like that's great slander on my end.
Yeah. Wow. Top 10 player to watch, apparently, for some people. But that wasn't necessary. But all right. So you guys can vote in the chat. Who do you think won? Topic 4. We'll move on to topic 5. So that Russ.
What's exciting about watching him? Like, I get that he's a good player, but like.
Chris Middleton?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I have no idea what's so enjoyable about watching him. He's really good at, being.
All right, next topic. We're good.
So topic 5, we'll do a fun one. 5v5. Who wins? The office versus community in a game of basketball. So the thing is, you can build your office team with the warehouse guys as well included. Let's stick to main characters only, so no side characters, unless they're like named. So it can't be like the like you can have like Daryl from the warehouse, but like the other warehouse guys that didn't really say much. Let's not include them. Same for community. I guess no like real big characters, but try to stay to main cast and go from there. So Iman, it's your turn to roll the dice. So I guess odd is the office and even would be community. Odd, so you will say the office is going to win this one. All right. So I'll give you a minute on the clock. 3, 2, 1, and go.
The Office would clearly win because, one, you have Creed, who is going to murder people out there. Number two, we saw how excited Michael gets about putting a team together to play basketball. We know that Jim is a good basketball player. We know that Daryl is good. We know that Pam's ex-fiance, whose name I cannot remember right now, is a good basketball player. We know that they have competent guys. As long as you can put 5 guys that can put something together, you have a good squad out there. I feel like Pam could probably shoot. I feel like here's the thing: Dwight's a bruiser. Who's getting past him? Absolutely no one on the other side. You have a great point guard, a great sort of floor general in Pam, because she kind of mans the office. She's a secretary. She knows where the ball goes. She knows where all the calls are going. You see how that works? You have a big body in the middle. You just have Kevin right there in the middle. Nobody's getting past him. It's a great team.
All right. First of all, I'm just going to start with the argument. Pam couldn't even shoot her shot with Jim, and Jim couldn't shoot a shot with Pam for like 4 seasons. So let's like not even talk about them as shooters, all right? Moving on. Michael Scott, no way. You know who is? Let's go with people that are actually in shape. Troy Barnes, college football athlete, and as you can tell in one of the episodes, clearly knows how to play basketball. Jeff, in incredible shape, 6'4", amazing frame, and he could also play ball. You saw him and Troy playing one-on-one. Abed beat Troy in a foot race, and multiple times during the show was shown to beat Troy in competitive activities. He's a secret weapon, clearly. Then you got Pierce. He's old and says racist stuff that throws you off. That's going to be really weird on the court. Him and Michael are definitely going to get into an argument. And then that's before you even get to Britta, who's just going to Britta things up in the paint. You need somebody to mess things up. You know what I mean? You got to do the dirty plays and stuff like that.
You said it exactly. They have Britta. Britta's going to mess it up for them. She is going to Britta it. Also, Shirley is going to talk about how being competitive is against Jesus and against her religion, and is going to try to turn it down. So here you go. You've got a lot of contention on that side of the field. You got the racist old man, Chevy Chase, forget his name. Pierce, he's going to be useless. He's going to mess it up. He's going to try to hurt himself or make it all about him. It's going to be bad on that side.
First of all, you have Dean Pelton, who's a jack of all trades. He'll change into whatever the team needs him to be. All right? The Dean can become anybody at any time. That's the type of player you want on your team. What are you going to get from Creed? He's just going to disappear as soon as the going gets rough? Oh, the cops are coming. You got Ryan the Temp. That's your 6th man of the year? No, thank you. I'll have Annie Edison, who's going to know the playbook back to forth. Nick Nurse on the bench. We're going to have every defensive scheme known and memorized. Let's go.
That was I'm going to give you that one. That was really good. There's literally nothing I can say.
All right, chat. Topic 5. Who won? Was Amir Iman. I'm pretty sure I won that one pretty clearly. Just like
I'm going to give you that one, but I think I won the other 4.
Yeah. So we've had a pretty decent episode, so we'll let people continue voting to let the votes keep coming in. Overall, let's just check in if there's been anything else added to this news. That's crazy, though, man. As soon as the show starts for that trade to break, that's insane.
Oh, look at that. I came late, but I just know that Iman won.
Wow.
We love you, Sidra.
That's ridiculous. Nice one, Asa. Thank you, Xerxes.
No.
I know I won that. 8th year, fam. You didn't even know what year Giannis was in. Ridiculous.
Dude, I didn't know LeBron made the playoffs. The finals. I was like, he came in 2003. I feel like he made in 2010. I was like, no, he was on the Heat in 2010. So that means he made in 2009. But Giannis isn't in his 6th year. So I'm just going to say 7-7 and hope that nobody catches that. It's probably 6-8.
Yeah. So the protections on these deals, the first round pick to Houston is 2023, lottery 2024, top 12 2025,
wait, say it?
Top 10 2026, top 8. Okay, that's weird.
Wait, say it?
Well, Shams tweeted it out, but I think he has a typo in his tweet.
Shams stays having
okay, yeah, sorry. So in 2023, it's lottery protected in 2023, then top 12 in 2024, top 10 in 2025, and top 8 in 2026. So, yep, I'm sure otherwise it becomes 2 second rounders. So, yeah, I'm sure the Rockets will get that at some point. The Wizards are going to be.
They're not making the playoffs. Yeah. They're not making the playoffs this year.
Yeah, that the Wizards might not make the playoffs. I don't know. Like, how much worse are they than the Hawks? I think they can make the
Hawks are not
playoffs.
making who are making playoffs? Okay, so we have the Raptors, you have the Bucks, you have the Sixers, you have the Heat, you have the Pacers, you have the Nets.
That's 7 teams. That's it.
Oh yeah, they're making the playoffs.
You're talking about Detroit's garbage, Cavs garbage,
Yeah, they're making the
Atlanta
playoffs.
garbage. Atlanta's like one of the better teams. Charlotte, you're gonna argue Charlotte with Gordon Hayward, maybe.
No. It's gonna be.
Yeah.
It'll be them.
Yeah.
They'll make it.
The Wizards are probably gonna make it because Chicago's way worse than them. It's gonna be like the Wizards, Atlanta, and Charlotte.
Okay, so
fighting for
Noor
both
and
teams.
Sidra are having a love fest in the comments.
Yeah.
And I love both of you guys.
Yeah, they love each other.
Sidra, get out of here. She just said she loves Noor the most after saying she loves me, so that means she doesn't love me the most, and I'm a little hurt and offended. But okay.
Well, clearly they didn't watch our show, so they clearly.
I know they both came in after. It's like, oh, we're studying. We have like school or something.
Yeah. There's no need to study when you can watch the show. All right, guys, always remember that you can always fit in a 30-minute TV show before studying, or during studying, or after studying. I passed all my exams and I never studied, so that's for the kids out there watching. Anyways, that should wrap up our show. Guys, we will have polls up after this episode on Twitter where you guys can continue to vote on who won the topics. What we might do next week is we may have a punishment for the loser, and we may also have some guests on to brighten the show up a little bit more. Thank you as always. If you guys want to be on the show, just reach out to us. If you have topics for us to argue.
How do I feel, Noor? I feel attacked, actually. I'm glad you have an exam in 2 days. Go study.
Yeah. There you go. That's studying right now. You see this? The study crew loves
everybody go study.
Anyways, y'all go study. We're gonna call it a show. Good day, good night. See y'all next week.